All three of these graduating classes embodied the foundational components of this program, being blue collar, ruthless, and disciplined and accountable. What I think is unique is that each class embodied one component just slightly more than the other two. When I think of our 2020 class, they were just a truly accountable group. They were the class that really turned the corner with being a group that talked the talk and walked the walk. They were not afraid to hold themselves and their teammates accountable. As a coach, if you constantly have to be the one correcting, culturally you just aren't there yet. Once you see the players correcting each other, that is when you know they are starting to get it. This is the group that helped this program turn that corner. And even in their absence, is still a vital cog to the success we have experienced.
Pat's an awesome guy to have around the locker room. Another guy that brings some Howard County grit to the team. Pat's just like a great guy in the locker room, a great friend to have. He's actually the king of the Warrior 2 pass in the 400. But he's a great guy to have around, a great leader, leads by example, sets a great example for this program, and has left a mark on the program for sure.
Mitchell was definitely the definition of blue collar. He showed up and worked his butt off every single day. He was also held everyone accountable, but we knew at the end of the day, even if he was hard on you, he still cared for you. And the only reason that he was being hard on us and making sure we were hitting the standards was because he knew that it was going to make the team as a whole better. And so that's why we loved Mitchell Howell.
First impression I had on Jason was in my official visit. We were told that Jason had spent a summer studying black holes in Hawaii. That's the kind of guy he was. He was extremely intelligent on the field and off the field, and really encompassed everything that the team really wanted. And he was a great guy. In the fall, sure, he had me and Tony come over for dinner one time with him and his fiance, just to have dinner with him. It was just like a big brother type thing. He spoke to all freshmen just like we were part of the team. He didn't look down on anyone, even though he really was like a walking playbook. He knew everything you could know about the game. He knew everything about the game on the field and how it translated to off the field as well. I bet he's doing great things now. I'm really excited to see him. Yeah, Jason Brewster.
He was a senior when I was a freshman in the year we lost for COVID, and he was definitely a good role model. You know, he balanced the focus and the fun every day at practice. I don't think I ever saw him not smiling, and he embodied the D-mid grit culture to the max, especially with his tape job on his stick, which I don't think he ever redid. A great memory I have of Danny is when we're at the bull roast and he had the guts to ask Coach Moran to let him take a shot, and I think that laid the groundwork for the D-mids today. Now we get to rip it in transition, so shout out to DI for that.
The 2021 class, now this was a ruthless and disciplined group. When we talk about being ruthless and disciplined in our program, we stress challenging your mental toughness to choose the harder path. The harder path will yield the greatest gain and improvement. All these young men made great strides as players and students during their time at UMBC. Within this group, it holds a collective cumulative GPA of a 3.5. There is an attack unit in this group that tied a program record for the most combined points in one season. We find in this group our first academic All-American. We have guys that sacrificed and traveled across the country from California to be in this program. We have young men that no matter what embraced their role on the team and did it with maturity and passion. This was truly a disciplined and ruthless group.
Brett McIntyre was definitely a huge part of our team. When I got here, he was one of the first guys to introduce himself. Have it maybe because he has the same name as me, but he was one of my good friends throughout this whole thing. He took advantage of his opportunity, always came hard to work in practice when he got that opportunity, became one of the highest scoring attackmen we had in our championship run and was essential to winning that championship. And now he's killing it in the NLL and just won a championship there too. So, love you, B-Nugs.
Ever since I got here, Nick has taken me under his wing, shown me the way how to do things. He's one of those guys that's a 24/7 teammate. on and off the field. He's always looking to make sure everyone's doing well, everyone's getting what they need. For me anyways, I'm pretty close with him, so he was a guy who came to my house and ate food with my family. He was someone that always smiled, even through the bad times. He was there to support and help out. He really meant a lot, and he really loved the team wholeheartedly and did everything he could for the team. So I mean, Nick Doyle is a guy that goes down in history, is a forever friend and brother to me.
Marshall Johnson, also known as Big Johnson, is just one of those guys that was one of the best teammates I've ever had. When I first got here, it was the COVID season, so it was a little rough for me, getting used to things with being secluded a little bit more in my dorm room, but Marshall was always there and very supportive of me and the rest of my teammates. He's a great guy, and I'd also like to say that he also has the best lefty cannon there is out there, that low to high cannon. Marshall Johnson, he's the man.
Trevor was a guy that just always came to work, no matter what day it was, no matter how he felt, just had a passion for the game that was unmatched by anyone else. And as a younger player, someone I really looked up to show me how much extra work you have to put in to be good, and it showed on the field for him. He was a 4-year starter for us and had a very successful career.
So Mike embodied the blueprint more than anybody I know. He showed us how to be resilient dealing with injuries and stuff, and he held everybody accountable off the field. He was a great leader and mentor for me and gave me my first boost of confidence when I was a freshman at UMBC. He told me to keep doing what I was doing and I would do something great, and hopefully I can live up to those words.
My boy Justin Barragan was always a smile in the locker room, always had a good attitude, brought energy and effort every single day, on and off the field. He always had max effort on the field, pushing people to be better. And he's quite a smart cookie in the classroom too. He's probably going to be saving some of our pets in the future. So I'm really excited that he's getting to do that, and he was a big part of our team.
When I was a freshman, Steve was a senior. He was someone I really looked up to. He helped me learn the offense. Any questions I had, I went to him. He was just always there for me. He always showed me what hard work was. I really enjoyed his motivation before games, and he just showed me what it was like to be a UMBC retriever.
Frawley was the leader of the offense here when I came in as a transfer student, and he really helped make the acclimation process smooth. He was the leader on and off the field, and he was a good time off the field, although it was during the COVID year, so I had some good times, made the most of what we had, and he's got a nice set of facial hair on him. Nick Griffin is basically the epitome of the blueprint. He does everything right on and off the field. He was always trying to make guys better on the field and in the weight room, making sure guys were on their stuff, and I think maybe one day he could even make a great coach.
The 2022 class was a very gritty and blue-collar group. Within our program, being blue-collar means to us that you are a humble young man, you don't have to be coached to give effort, and you're consistent and reliable. All the members of this class embody those qualities. The moment these young men came onto campus, we since won an American East Conference tournament in 2019. We finished 4-1 during our COVID year of 2020. In 2021, we finished our regular season 8-2 and were regular season conference champions. And in 2022, we fell just short of claiming our second conference tournament championship.
Corey's a great guy to have around the locker room. One of the hardest workers in the program. One of the first guys to show up, one of the last guys to leave. Always putting a lot into the team. Always bringing the energy and a few hits. And Corey's very actively involved in the community, so that's another great thing about Gaines.
Corey was definitely an extremely hard worker and very good at his craft. He was one of the greatest defenders that I played with here at UMBC. He forced me to get better too every day. He challenged me to go one-on-one with him, anything to get some extra work in to help us both get better, which was awesome and really helped me out through my time with Corey Gaines.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to play with Hurdle his senior season because of a season-ending injury, but every time I did see him, he had a huge smile on his face. It gave the rest of the guys a big smile on their face, just kind of brightened up their days to see Hurdle. But when I was able to compete with him, he made me a better face-off guy. He kind of, was a friend that I could go to and talk about when I had something on my chest or just something I needed to get out into the air. Hurdle was my ear to talk to. And it was just a pleasure to share the face-off acts with Hurdle, and he made me a better competitor every day.
Tommy Lingner, you showed everybody what it meant to be a true dog. You showed up to practice every day, ready to give it your all and do whatever you needed to make the team succeed. I'll never forget the words you said before and after games and how much you hated losing and how much you pushed everybody to do whatever was needed to come out with the win. You're a great leader on and off the field and a better captain and friend to me than I could have asked for. Can't wait to see you again, and hope you're doing well.
Jack Thomas was a quiet guy that would just show up and do what he had to. Always knew his job, just always would fight through adversity. Freshman year, had a pretty high sprain in the championship game and then turned around 4 days later and played in the playoff game against Marist. And then also had various injuries that he had to fight through and never made an excuse, just showed up each day and played.
Kaz was honestly an unreal player on the field, but I think the biggest impact he had was how he treated teammates. He was always willing to share reps with other guys so they get the same experience he did. And he was always willing to teach and give his knowledge out to the younger poles and younger short stick D middies.
Duke's he's just the absolute man. Whenever we'd see him in the locker room, on the field, on campus, he just brought a smile to your face every time. And at practice, he always brought the energy, got everyone up, especially the defense. He just really cares. He cares about everything, whether it's school, lacrosse, all the guys individually. He'll go out of his way to make sure he knows that you're doing well, mentally and physically. So he was a great role model for me, honestly, and I know he was for a lot of the other guys. Definitely missed him this year. He was the absolute definition of UMBC lacrosse, but just love you, Dukes.
All three of these classes and the men in these classes mean so much to myself and to this program. They all, as individuals and collective classes, left such a lasting and impactful legacy of sacrifice, effort, and love. The UMBC family of players, alumni, and parents, we all thank you now for all that you have done for this program. You will all be forever dogs. Thank you.
Let's go! Here we go! All day. Let's have ourselves a game! Have yourselves one, let's go! Ankles on 3, 1, 2, 3!
UMBC, the 2019 America East Conference champion.
Hey, let's go! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Go!